Hello and welcome today to our ConnectWise Mastery Series Business Management Ask Me Anything. Today we are focusing on quoting. So bring all of those CPQ quoting questions for us today. A quick introduction of who we have here. My name is Lynette Polson. I am a software training consultant on the education team here at ConnectWise. I am safe and sound up in Wisconsin. And currently, I've been in the education team for a little over 2 years. Prior to that, I was at an MSP. So I have a feel of what you're looking for, what you've been doing. And I just love helping partners improve their process. So hopefully we can answer some questions today to help you guys out. I am joined by Julie.
You may be double muted, Julia.
It is. Yeah. So I'm on the partner success team. I've been with ConnectWise for 10 years. I started off as it was Cell back then, now CPQ consultant, and just here to help out, answer any questions today.
And last but not least, we have Kashan.
Yes. Hello, everybody. So my name is Kashan. I'm the current product owner for CPQ. I'm from St. Thomas. I've been with ConnectWise about 4 years now. I did start with the product support team and the technical services team as well before I came over to the product team.
Excellent. Thank you for joining me today, guys. So as I said, we're talking all things quoting. And Julie, you're in the partner success, so you're working with partners on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes, you get comments and questions from them. The first thing we want to ask is the new header, the new quote header, love it or hate it. Would love to hear it. Go ahead and throw your response there in that questions pod. Tell us if you love it, if you hate it, if there's something different you want to see. You have a captive audience here with Kashan, but we would love to see what you're feeling about it. I know I was recently at a user group and there was some mixed feelings about it. So it looks like the overall theory is that I'm wondering, Tyler, if you could expand on the header is too short. I know what I was getting at the user group is that it was taking up too much real estate, so they weren't able to see as much of their quotes. So it's interesting that you're saying too short. I'm not sure. I know, Julie, you were telling me that there is a way to revert back to the old version. Do you want to walk us through that here?
Yes. So there is a way. If you go to settings.
I apologize. Live demo is never good. Okay.
And then organization setup. And then company. And then it's just a simple little checkbox. Oops. Now I gotta remember.
Did I want to? I can help with this one a little bit. Quote preparation.
Quote prep. Okay. Yeah. So quote preparation, quote setup. Mm-hmm. And then it's on the right-hand side. So in the third column, the bottom choice, there's a little checkbox. If you go up to the top, scroll up a little bit, at the very top pod there, enable quote header. Uncheck that. So Stephen, if you want to go back to the old way, just go in there, check that little box and hit save. That is global. So that will move the new one and go back to the old way.
Yeah.
That is an important thing to point out, Julie, that it is global. So that will change it for everyone in your organization.
Yeah. And some of the feedback we have gotten regarding the quote header was some of the fields like cost was removed. We have re-added that into the quote header. And in our October release, we will also see that admins will have more access on what fields would be included in the quote header as well. So I think With those two updates, users will be able to start getting some more benefit, or they'll be able to enjoy it, having it turned on moving forward. And any other feedback, we will definitely love to hear what are some of the pain points with it. I know regarding the opportunity name or the quote name, it's we do have the ellipses, because if the name is too long, it won't display. So we handle that with an ellipses now. If you hover over it, you will be able to see the full quote name. So we do appreciate our partners sharing that feedback with us, so we can improve on our side.
Just proof that we are listening to what you're putting out there in the virtual community, and we are taking that feedback to heart and trying to keep things fresh for you. So make sure if you do turn it off for now, that you periodically check back and see what is new and what has changed out there. The next one we wanted to bring up is, do you know that you can do options in a CPQ quote? So Julie was talking about how she has some clients that have done, like, they'll have 3 quotes for one thing, and they're like, and she says, because we have to give them options. Well, do you know that you can do those options? You can turn those toggles on in CPQ. So again, Julie, I will drive if you kind of want to walk me through some of this, or Kashan, if you have thoughts or inputs on it as well.
Yeah, so if you want to have just a test quote, because what we'll need is just, like, a good example would be, I have plan A, plan diamond, whatever your one of your service plans might be, and then you have plan B. So we have a diamond and we have a platinum package. So which one do I want my customers to go with? Or I have laptop A, laptop B. Laptop B might be an upsell, but you want to give your customers the option to step up and buy a little bit better. So let's go ahead and copy your hardware tab, just duplicate it. And we'll change the quantity from 1 to 2. So we'll just make it.
Maybe we'll find one that's a little easier, although 2, it doesn't help when I have my.
Lynette, if you go to quote setup and create a new version, that should allow us to make some changes.
Oh, is this one locked? Oh yeah, this one is 1. I can go find a different one. I apologize. This is our test instance, so you just never know what you're going to find out here. We're going to go with this one for the network rack and workstation. So we should be able to make the network rack, or one of them, optional here.
Yeah, so the whole idea is to, upsell your customer, and psychologically, people, when you give somebody options, they don't want to be the cheapest, but they may not want to be the most expensive. So you could actually create 3 tabs. Think of gold, silver, bronze platforms that you guys have, and then choose the highest one. And then by default, psychologically, the human brain says, I don't want to be the cheapest, so I'll just go down the middle, which is where you want them anyway. So just some ways to kind of play with options. Yeah, so go ahead to edit tab. And what we want to do is in the on the right-hand side there, there you go. Just put tab group. You could just put A or hardware, whatever you may want to put in there. And then just save and close. And the other tab, copy of hardware, will do the same thing. We're going to say edit tab, put it in tab group A. And then with this one, we can say is optional.
Right? We want it. There we go. Yep.
Save and close.
And I think we need to take that other one off being locked, correct?
Oh, was it locked? Yeah, we want to take.
I believe so. Yes. I think I left it. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. So by using the tab group, what that does is you see the color up on top that associates the 2 tabs together and says, okay, this is where I'm going to give my customer the option between hardware and copy of hardware, or plan A and plan B. And by deselecting that little checkbox that we put on copy of hardware, that's what gave the italicized look and feel. So that says, okay, this is an option. So one thing that we want to do here in order to make this work is if we navigate to quote setup, and click on more, and then we're going to go to edit publish settings. So this can be done on a quote by quote basis, or it can actually be done at the template level. And if you do options, setting it up at the template level might be a good way to go about it. In the bottom section, the order porter settings, the very first column, the bottom option says show tab checkboxes and radio buttons. You want to make sure that's checked. That's what's going to give your customers and you the ability to display these as optional. So just wanted to show that. So go ahead and go to prepare content.
I just want to note while we're here, Julie, that you can do it also by the item. So if you were having it on the hardware tab, if you had multiple PCs that you were giving them an option for, you could do it that way as well.
Yep. And then so if you go to prepare content, and kind of, there's a couple ways we can look at this. We can do it pricing on both of those tabs.
Yes.
Okay. So if you click more right above tab 7, and you can preview the PDF, you'll see how this displays. So you're going to see it's italicized, and there's a little, you'll see where it says optional. So anything that is not in bold will not be included in the totals. Is there a form attached to it? If you go to publish and deliver.
Might have to update expiration dates too. Always fun. As I said, test environment.
Yeah, and then just grab one of those forms. Perfect. And while we're here, let's just go to publish, because then we'll kill two birds with one stone here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was going to be my plan, because I wanted to show how that looks in the order porter as well.
Yeah.
Live demo, you gotta love the timing.
So that when you do prepare content, you can click more and preview PDF very easily just to see what it looks like. You don't always have to go out to publish and deliver. So since we're here, we can see you have your choice A and your choice B. So copy of hardware, you'll see the optional with the asterisk right above it. It is optional subtotal, so that amount is not included in your quote total. And where the functionality comes in for your customer being able to see the radio button and choose between hardware and copy of hardware is through the order porter page. So if we click to look at that order porter link, so this is where they can easily choose. Now, the only gotcha on this page is your customer, if they decide to choose copy of hardware, they do have to select update options, that little box in the middle. That's the only thing that you may want to let them know, that in order to adjust the numbers, they need to choose that. And then you'll see once we update options, you'll see copy of hardware is now bold, which means it's now included in totals.
And you can see now here too, it also says unbefore that's optional. So you can see very quickly that it changed which one we. Unfortunately, we had the same total with our quick down and dirty that we were doing here. So, but if there were different totals, you would see that updated here on that total amount.
And Stephen, you have a question for options. Can you show how to link something like hardware quantity to, I can't see the whole message.
The service hours. Example, one laptop is 3 hours, 2 laptops is 6 hours, depending on the hardware. So for that, I'm thinking you can do item grouping as well.
Yep. And that's going to be the line item grouping, right?
Correct. Yes, ma'am. So I think first we would want to go to the tab level. If we have a hardware tab, let's go to edit the hardware tab, and we need to enable the group quantity source fields. or setting. Yep, in the admin only tab part.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yep. And then we also need to, well, we already have the tab groups between hardware and copy of hardware. So for the line item, let's go ahead and add the grouping code to the line item on your hardware tab. The grouping code field may have to be revealed.
Item grouping. Right, that would be the one that we're looking for.
Yep.
So now we're going to want to do this as something different than what we already did on our tabs, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So if we were tying this to, we'll say B, and then we're going to...
And now we can go to the other tab, copy of hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And we can set the grouping code on that line item as well.
So now this is going to link these two. So if this is originally 3 hours of service per one PC, if they update that number of PCs, it's going to change the hours of service for them, correct?
Correct. The quantity on the second line item will be dependent on the first line item. And kind of in addition to address the ratio, like Stephen was mentioning, maybe one laptop is 3 hours of service, then we do have factor fields as well. That's what would make the quantity a little bit more dynamic, like his example. And within our chat, I'm gonna attach some documentation as well to our grouping codes documentation and the factor fields as well on how to set those up.
Perfect, Kishan. And I will also add that when I do our virtual community post after this, I will include that as well. So if you don't grab it now or forget, it will be out there in the virtual community also.
And also tab colors. Stacy asked, how do you change your tab colors? So right at the tab,
you can see here we are in the edit tab and we can change them right here.
And that also is in settings to enable tab colors, that the options to see tab colors. So that's kind of nice. It allows you to group, certain types of tabs together, or you could group tab templates together, by color. So however you like to utilize those.
And of course, this red bar up here linking them, that is automatic because of the fact that we did those, that optional setting. So the last question that Julie and I had, is this is something that I always thought was so exciting, and I don't think many partners use it. How do I use this success list to be more efficient? I know it's out there on the dashboard, but what else can it do for us? So you can see here, we have our success list. It's showing us, things that maybe need our attention, but there's so much more that it can do. Would you like to share with us, Julie?
Yes. So one of the things that I typically do on my dashboard page is I move the success list over far to the right so I can see the full screen. Because if I'm actively using CPQ, I'm going to have lots of different options there. And if you click the little, as a user, this is the modifications that Lynette is doing is only for her screen. So this is not global. It is only for her screen, but this allows me to have a better visual as to the success list. So how to tap into the success list? If you click on settings, it's hiding under sales coaching and then success list profiles. So think of the success list, like when we look at this, there's by default, you're going to have delivered, first visit, approval, some other options in there, and you'll have when. And the thing that like, for example, if we look at first visit, we want to say that doesn't mean my customer has visited the quote already. What it means is I'm waiting for my customer to click on the order porter link. So if you're not sending out quotes via order porter, this won't work. So you have to be sending your quotes out using order porter. So what this says is when I'm looking at my first visit, it's kind of, it's like a traffic signal with two shades of green. So we have a light green, a dark green, a yellow, and a red. What we want to do here is first visit. So I'm waiting for my customer to click on that link. So as I'm waiting, what is my optimal time frame that I want to give my customers to look at their quotes? Note that these are calendar days, not business days. By default, in CPQ, it's going to be 3. So what that means is on the 3rd day, you're going to see it's going to be dark green. The minute it hits the 4th day, it will go to yellow. In this case, we're using 4.5 days. You want to change that to 3, Lynette? Target days. So we have some even numbers. Then that way you can see, so save it. What it's going to do is it's basically a visual to help you know exactly where all of your quotes are. So the minute this 3-day time frame hits the 4th day, it will be yellow. So that's letting you know your customers have not looked at your quote yet. By the time it hits red, it's going to be double your target. So we can create in here. So not only do you have the visual to know if your customers have looked at their quotes, if they haven't, we can create what's called a stage track. So a stage track is your ability to remind your reps, remind your customers, hey, did you get the quote? Do you have any questions? Et cetera, et cetera. Anything that you may want to put in there. So when we come in to do a stage track, this is basically triggering off of, is it when the stage starts, when it completes, or when it hits yellow or red? So depending upon how often you want to remind your customers or your reps to follow up, you'll just choose whichever one you want there. Yellow is a pretty good time frame because that's outside of your optimum time. So you want to mark it as inactive. And then looks like you're missing some.
Yeah, it looks like for this one, it's only giving me the opportunity option. I don't know why.
They might be they're different per stage. So
that's correct.
like if we were to click into delivered, we may see like the email wrap and the other options that we can add with stage tracks as well.
Yeah. So there will be an option to email your reps and just do a new one.
I'm going to a different stage so I can see here. Let's do delivered. I believe this one has more.
Just try clicking new stage track.
The email rep portion probably has to be enabled then.
Okay.
It could be because I know too I have something weird in because of SSO and the way our integration is set up. I might not have everything integrated completely with PSA, but these
so we can get you. Yeah, we can get you information on success list and stage track. So you do have the option to send an email to your reps or your customer. You can put rich text tags in there, so RTF tags that will pull in the quote number, etc. You also have the option to update an activity directly within PSA. So this is really helpful. It's just creating some automation from within CPQ that says as an example, my customer hasn't looked at their quote yet, I need to remind my rep, or the customer hasn't looked at the quote yet, I'm going to remind the customer, or I'm going to remind the customer and my rep at the same time. So my rep gets a copy of what is being sent to the customer. So it just kind of keeps that gentle nudge going. Same works with approve. So you're waiting for your customer to approve the quote. You can use the success list there as well with stage tracks to kind of nudge them to approve the quote as well.
I know we had a couple of questions come in as we were showing things. Is there anything else, burning questions that you have on quoting? We have Kashan and Julie here, as well as myself. If there's questions about some of the upcoming changes, this is your time to ask Kashan. Kind of pick his brain about what's coming up, or give some thoughts and suggestions if you're not out there active in the virtual community. Well, we see if anybody answers. I do love the when I discovered Success List when I was working at an MSP, it was very exciting for me because it's a great way to get that information, things that are going on in CPQ. It's a great way to get that over to PSA so it can take action on it. So you can be reminded, you can set up those activities, which we hopefully are all doing on our opportunities. And I'm guessing there's more to come when we combine everything into ASIO. Not seeing any other questions pop. Apparently we've answered everything there is to be answered about quoting. Really quick before we wrap up, and just to give people a couple more minutes, if you have any questions that come to you after this, I highly recommend the virtual community. It's a great place to put those questions out. We're out there from education. I think people from Partner Success are out there. Kashan Product is out there. So they are seeing the information that you're saying. So whether you're giving feedback or asking for new features or asking how to do something, it's a great place to get all those answered, either by ConnectWise employees or by your peers. I mean, sometimes the peers have a better way to do it than we could ever imagine. So I definitely encourage you to get out there, be active in that virtual community. Attend a user group if there is one in your area. I know we're wrapping up the year, but if there is one coming up next year in your area, I highly encourage you to get out there, attend it. And then if there are bigger process problems that you guys are looking for solving, I believe, Julie, they can email partnersuccess@connectwise.com to get hooked up with you guys and, get that private session of looking at their process and seeing where you guys can help and improve, right?
Yep, exactly right.
Okay, well, still, I don't see any more questions coming in. I just want to do a quick plug. We do have 2 more Mastery Series sessions coming up before we stop for the holiday season. So definitely use the link, check that out, see what's coming up next. I will be here next week. I don't remember what the topic is, so I'll be as surprised as you are. And then we will also do reporting before we wrap up for the year. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for your questions, and hopefully you have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye, all.